Hello, and welcome to the second of our two sessions of Balikbayan. And This is a wondrous game. And this happens when I run two shots, is after the first session, I'm like, why did I only put this on for two shots? This is what happens to my infinite regret. But I work through a lot of different games, so I consider that, and hopefully having run this, we will see other people pick it up and run it on the Gauntlet as well. The Gauntlet being the online gaming club slash community that this game is taking part in. We have an online gaming calendar with close to 100 games, 100 sessions a month right now. And You can find out more about joining up with that at gauntlet-rpg.com. So if you would check that out. So last time we went through and we set up our elementals. We established great and wondrous details about our setting. Just to remind you what we know about the city, some of the visuals that we have established. Bustling markets. We've talked about those being kind of outdoor public bustling markets. The dominant color is orange around. We established the crashed satellites that have fallen down in different parts of the city that things have been built around. I imagine that where they've fallen and people have probably grabbed and reclaimed them and repurposed them for things. We've got strange holographic forests that have bled through kind of an augmented reality thing. We kind of think that that may be part of representation, a symptom of the heart of the city. We kind of thought about that. And a sentient smog that is out there like a mist that comes and goes and clearly has its own thoughts and own purposes. Our troubles that plague our city are hedonism. The corp keeps people pushed to entertain themselves, amuse themselves to death, ignore the coming fall. People indulge in all kinds of vices and entertainments and so on to blind themselves to what's going on. We have an impending environmental disaster at the margins of our city, at the outskirts, hidden away, concealed, but we know that there are storms raging outside that threaten to burst in and destroy. We have organized groups of memory hunters. There's a market for memories stolen, memories taken and resold. And people will realize that something is gone, but they won't know what when these things happen. And mostly people are stealing those joyful, hopeful memories to sell on, which is maybe even worse. And then lastly on that, there is the remains of an internet, of a network that's out there that when people accidentally dial into it or deliberately dial into it, it can have physiological changes to the people who engage with it. So a little bit videodrome maybe there, that kind of physical changes from interactions with the signal that goes on. Now we have 6 setting elements, and we've established a couple of desires for each of these. And these are kind of important to frame up where we're at. So what I want to do is I want to go to each of these, say what the desires are, and then I'm going to ask someone to choose one of the 3 questions and maybe suggest an answer, and we can discuss this as a group, what it might be. So let's start with the enslaved. These are the other elementals that are here in the city. And we looked at their desires, and interestingly, we chose freedom and redemption. So this isn't the elementals who are still there necessarily hate us. They have desires. They want their own freedom. They want some form of redemption rather than it being a hostile approach. Let me ask you, Puckett, let me start with you. look at those. We've got 3 questions under the enslaved. Would you pick one of those to maybe kind of give us a slight answer to?
I think I can actually answer 2 of them almost simultaneously.
Okay.
And that's, why did we leave so many elementals behind to slavery, and why wouldn't our fellow elementals run away with us? And I think it's because they genuinely believe they can work within the system to change it for the better.
Ooh. Do you think that that's something that's been imposed on them by the corp, or is it that they hold to certain values, a moral sense of the world? What do you think is the reason why they believe they can work within the system?
I think part of it is something akin to brainwashing, and I think that part of it is some of the elementals genuinely feel that trying to reason with the corp is the best way to affect positive change, to get the corp to see the error of its ways, and that they can do so better by serving and pointing out where the corp is going wrong than by running away and trying to bring the entire thing crashing down. They look at the chaos that would result from that and think that there has to be a better, more gradual way to change.
Interesting. Tyler, Jamie, anything you want to add to that, or questions you want to add on to that? And let's move on to the corp. The corp that we're going to see more present today. They're running everything. We decided last time that it is an omnicorp. It is a corporation that has many faces, but at the top there is one corporation. Everything all leads up to them. And we established that they have a very strange purpose. And one is to make the elementals obsolete. They believe that they've run through the elementals. They've taken the elementals as far as they can. They need more. They need a new way. If they're going to survive and push through, they need a new way. And with that, they want to rewrite the laws of magic. In some way, they want to change the basic terms of how the world works. Jamie, I'll have you answer one of the questions from the corp there.
Ooh, let's see. I always like giving a face to these faceless things.
Ooh.
So I'm going to choose who's in charge. How have they bent the city to their will? And I'm going to a sci-fi name generator to get a name. I like Makeda Gammon. That's kind of cool. Let me type that in the chat. I like the idea that this is someone who used to be one of us, but used to be an elemental, but is hiding that fact.
Did they fade so far that they became human?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's why they're trying to rewrite the laws of magic, because they want to regain that immortality. They want to regain, like, I'm sort of seeing someone who feels and acts like, oh my gosh, what's his name from Blade Runner? I really love him so much. The main replicant.
Rutger Hauer's character.
Yeah.
Roy Batty.
Yeah. I'm thinking like that, except perhaps more Asian features, but that kind of vibe, right? And I think he also successfully killed the person before him and took on their form. So I'm guessing they used to be a tikbalang, and then they've learned how to reshape it.
And certainly they would like to get around the cycle of rebirth that has been interrupted as well. They like to change that. And unless they crack the egg, they cannot be reborn. So I think we've got that. Are they on broadcasts? Are they on billboards? Are they talked about in the shadows? How public is this Makeda Gammon?
Yeah, I think he's very public. I think we see him all the time in those really disturbing, like, thank you for being part of the corp. With you, you are our heart. You know, that kind of like horrible like messaging that comes through every so often. Yeah, so their prevalence we see, and they're very popular. So we see a lot of people trying to emulate Makeda, and don't know about his secret.
I imagine too that because we don't have an internet, we don't have necessarily we don't have those targeted adverts that we might have. Instead, we've just got a barrage. They hit you with everything all the time, just in hopes that some of it will push you to what they need it to be. And his smiling face is there. Tyler, our magic. This is the sense of what the magic wants, what the magic does, and we tied that magic to two desires. One is entropy, and the other is to be unshackled. So there are shackles that exist right now. I would like you to pick one of those questions from magic and tell me what you think, what the answer is.
All right. I think what are the laws of magic, if any, and who or what established these laws? I think that one of the primary laws of magic is that magic comes with cost, and that magic originates with life, and consequently, that's we're seeing that it's draining how we're using it so much, how we're being exploited to push it out there is practically depleting the battery, and that this society is almost pseudo life and isn't generating it like it once did, and we've killed nature to the point that it's not adding to it, and there is that problem. And it was established, I think, that in the dimmest recesses of what we elementals believe is there was once a time we were all one, that all together we were one, and in this great kind of oversoul, we innately knew the laws.
They came with the world. They were established there, and then something happened. We were splintered, and we come down into this world. Let me ask you this: when you say life, because you said something about the people here kind of not being right. Is that sense of life not only like the physical, like heartbeat, but about like imaginative life and that kind of thing?
Yes, it's that drive for creativity, that drive to be more, and also kind of what we have now is more existence than life.
Sterile hedonism, repetition of memories, recopying, remixing of memories, rather than the generation of new emotions and feeling. Okay, I like that. Puckett, come back to you. The fading. This is the danger that faces our elementals, and we have two desires in that fading. One is reveal the hidden truth. So there's something behind this, some reason for this. Maybe we don't know exactly, but there's also a fiery apocalypse that is laying there in wait with that fading. Look at those questions and give me an answer to one of them.
How is the fading connected to the rich and powerful humans' mortality? They're feeding on us. And when we're gone, all of that energy will collapse and yield a fiery apocalypse. So while there are some elementals that are trying desperately to work from the inside to help the corpse see the error of its ways, we're on the outside just trying to make sure that everything doesn't end because of their greed.
Do you mention that feeding is that there are the banks a la Matrix of the energy that goes in, or are the rich and powerful, do they given an elemental, a singular elemental that they have with them or strapped to them that they drain? What do you think? They're
I
both
think
pretty horrible. So
I think they go through single elementals, but serially. So when one is used up, then it's the next one.
I like that. We'll probably visualize. We'll probably see some of them if we encounter any of these corp people.
Do you watch The Magicians?
I have only watched a few episodes of the first season. I haven't followed up. So
okay, there was a part of it where there were fairy body parts that were being grounded just for kind of boost magical power. I was thinking of it something along those lines.
Okay. Especially if as they're getting drained, they're fading. I mean, that is a thing there. The heart. This is the heart of the city. We've seen one symptom of it with the virtual trees, the virtual forest here. And the heart has two desires. One is strange new forms, and the other, another piece of fire, is to be reborn in fire. So this strange heart of the city. Jamie, what do you want to choose as one of the questions you want to answer there?
Ooh, let's see. I would say, how does interfacing the heart benefit us despite the inherent risk? I feel like the heart has information. It can hide us sometimes, but it's dangerous because it's sort of like touching the unknowable. It's like touching like the heart of the cosmos, the heart of the city. It's just so huge and difficult to completely comprehend. So we can only talk to it for a short time each time, or connect to it for a short time before it overwhelms us.
Is the heart something new that the elementals don't understand, or is it something old that has returned? What do the elementals think the heart is?
Ooh, I feel like the elementals believe the heart is the last defense of the city. Like as life is dying, as life is disappearing, it was something that was pulled together from everyone who lives within it, without them being aware of it. So it's this last effort of the city trying to protect itself, trying to protect the magic.
So it understands what the elementals are, but it's simply lie with itself. It is a clawing, screaming, trying to keep itself together, trying to find the ways. It might help, but it might also swallow you to save itself. Finally, Tyler, our allies. We've seen a couple of them on screen. We talked about what they represent. We have a place for them to crash down in our subterranean tunnels there. And our two desires are galaxy-wide rebellion. So this is not the only city that this is happening. And there's a network of these allies working to rebel, working to undercut the corporation elsewhere. What the allies that you have here are merely a cell of it. But it's also pretty clear that they believe that they can do the job better, that they can if we just tear down the corp, we can make things right. If we have power, we can shape things in the correct way, and everything will be fine. So let's have you pick one of those questions to answer.
All right. What kind of dangers do our allies face, and how do we help them in turn? I think that one of the big dangers that that they face is paranoia. Not only do the corpse constantly have moles going in, but this idea to become the new masters here in the city, off in the colonies. I think our allies are not unified in what they think the perfect goal is, or or who should be in control. And so there is this great danger of turning on each other, of ratting out one cell to the corp, there is this constant undercurrent of paranoia that goes through them. And we help them because, at least in their eyes, and at least, and partially in truth,
Mm-hmm.
we have purpose, and we believe, we desperately believe that this has to end, that the corp, what they're doing, has to end. And so they can kind of depend on our judgment in a little way.
Mm-hmm.
And beyond that, I think there's still like a connection on the colonies of those that are enslaved but are sympathizers, and we're capable of putting a communication network between cells that are independent of the cells' own machinations against each other.
Lacking internet, the elementals are one of the few that can create those connections.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Let me go over safety tools. Then they'll frame a little bit what happened last time, and then we're going to come and see people's agendas and so on, what they want to do. So on our lines are graphic gore, harm to animals, harm to children, sexual assault, and then we have a veil on sexual content, meaning we fade to black on that. And we also have ask first if we're going to have issues of bullying on the table. That's another one that we have at present. Again, just to remind you, the X card is also available on the table as a secondary measure to support the lines and veils, as is essentially open door, meaning if you need to step away, so on. So I know I've just said harm to children as a line, so we know that she's not in danger in that particular way. But tell me, Mirden, how is Rose in trouble right now?
I think that, as I've said before, she's fearful where so many others are blitzed out, don't really, have blinded themselves to what's going on. And because of that, she's actually curious, which is very dangerous in this world. And I think that, being a clever sort, I think she's been trying to break into corp security computer networks to find out more of what's going on.
And she will contact you. I imagine we have hardline phones since we don't have internet, so we probably don't have cell service. So there is that thing where we probably hear the ringing of an old style telephone down in your base somewhere. There's a switchboard with people plugging things in to connect up, and you'll answer. And Rose, does she know you as Mirrodin? Is that how she calls you?
Yes.
She'll say, Mirrodin.
Yes, my dear.
I'm stuck in a place right now.
Stuck? Where are you?
There've been talk about the memory sellers and the corp buying memories, and I wanted to know who was buying and so on. And I followed some sellers back to a place that the corp is usually very open. Like, I mean, you can give plasma, you can give blood, you can give memories, and you go to those corp offices to donate. But this place was a corp place, but it was on the quiet. And so I went inside while people were going in, and it's locked down now.
Oh no.
I don't think anyone knows I'm here. It's just that they've locked the place up, and I don't know if they've got security or something, and I don't know what to do. Should I just wait?
Wait quietly. Where? Which one of these places?
She'll say Tiger District. If you go off of Burn Alley, And then she describes a couple of colors and markers and things.
You are good at hiding, my sweet Rose.
I
Draw
am.
yourself up small. Be quiet, and I will find you.
It didn't sound as reassuring as I think you thought it would.
Don't worry, my dear. I won't let anything happen to you.
All right. You can taste her fear through the phone. Let me check in. I'm going to check in with each of you before we kind of move to the thing. A third, after last time and the messes that happened, you had the thing where you burnt out some of your magic. What is it that are you worried about that? Not worried about that? How do you feel?
Ooh, right now, third thinks that they're just sleeping because the mob boss is still controlling their body.
Yes.
The one that has a connection with Meriden. So I gave him a name. I don't think we had a name. Did we have a name last time?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I didn't see it in my notes.
Yeah. So I have here Jacinto Maddox, just because
Ooh.
it sounds kind of mob bossy. Good job, generator. Doing good. So just so everyone knows, it's Don John, the generator.
I love that so much.
But yeah, so I think right now, third thinks that they're just sleeping and dreaming. They don't quite understand that a spirit has taken over their body.
So you when is the point at which you realize you're on this is a little bit later that you're on the phone? You kind of
come to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I find myself in a part of the city that I haven't been to. It looks like a rundown. It used to be a speakeasy, but it's in complete disarray.
Yeah, and the person is saying, but you're dead.
Maybe I was, and I'm trying to just go along with it, like when you wake up from a blackout and you're just trying to pretend you're still in control.
Says I don't know. I mean, I can get you a weapon like that if you want, but that's going to take me some time, boss.
Right, I'm the boss, and I need that weapon that is correct. You know what to do.
All right, then tomorrow the usual place, and I'll have it ready. But this has got to be the end of it. This has got to be the last of it.
Right, the usual place. Just to be sure, you should send me the coordinates.
There's that pause. Do you think that he buys it? Or doesn't?
Ooh. I think I'm willing to I'm willing to give into the fading and feel a little mortal. In order to come through, I'm willing to burn up a bit of my magic just to convince him.
The Plaza of Broken Arms.
Right, which I knew of. I'll see you there tomorrow.
All right. And they'll hang up, and you're like, you look around, you have no idea what part of the city you're in. It is, of course, just because it would be perfectly coincidental, it is a tiger district. Let's just establish that. Quark, what are you up to?
I'm looking for Mirrodin.
Mirrodin is still there in the base, probably the hideout, the den, probably getting ready to head out. I assume, Mirrodin.
Yes, yeah. You probably see me. If you were there, you would see me get up with purpose, and I'm putting myself together and just planning to rush out.
Do you have like a second?
Probably not much more than a second. I am needed. What do you need, Clark?
I'm worried.
About what?
Last time I didn't have control of my powers, and I'm worried about. I don't want to let everybody down when it really counts, and it really counted, and I screwed up, and I'm afraid. Like, I'm afraid that like one of you is going to be like in mortal danger, and I'm going to lose control of my powers again, and I'm going to turn into something like a capybara or a quokka or something like that, when what we really need is a war elephant.
You should not avoid the fear. The fear will keep you sharp. The fear is what will focus you. You allowed yourself to slip, but you can come back from that. Mistakes are teaching tools. The burned finger does not stray to the stove a second time. I have faith in you.
So harness my fear.
Indeed. It will make you strong.
You look like you're going somewhere. Do you need help?
Perhaps someone I care about may be in danger. Would
Okay.
you help me?
Yeah.
Good.
I don't even need to know what we're doing or where we're going or anything like that. Just let's help him out, get him out of there, or whatever it is we need to do.
Good. Thank you. It may be dangerous. We go to the hive of the memory stealers, I fear.
Ooh. I wonder if I have memories of animals that I can steal.
Yes, two birds with one stone.
Right? Literally.
So Mirrodin, mark a token, because your lure was hit.
Thank you. There we go.
And tell me, how do you travel around the city? What, I mean, is there public transport? Are there carts? Are there cars? What is the method for travel for you? Might not be for everybody, but at least for you two.
Do you have anything in particular, Quark, you use? I imagine I have like a nondescript black, the typical black sedan type vehicle.
It depends on the time of day and how quickly I need to get there. So there's times if it's dark, I might transform into a bird. If I can get above the light, or if I can stay in the shadows, I might transform into a panther or a jaguar. But that all depends on time of day. It depends on how many people are around, where we're going, what the scenario is. So I'll probably just hop in the passenger seat.
All right.
And then I imagine we get a montage of the car driving out into these busy streets, going through, pushing through places. There's probably a corporate speed lane. For, there's all kinds of levels of purchase for your access to everything. There's probably when you get to a stoplight, there's a thing where you could pay extra to have it turn for you. All of those things are monetized here. People who can't pay have to wait and wait and wait. Everything costs time. It costs money here. And when you get to Tiger District, Mirrodin, I imagine we get that shot of you driving along, and I think you're kind of looking for it, and you will. Elementals live in a world of magic and coincidence, so it doesn't surprise you. But you do see Third there.
I'll kind of pull to the side in my sci-fi version of a Crown Vic and kind of roll down the window. Third.
Oh, yes. Mirrodin, Quark. Where are we? What is this place?
We're in the Tiger District. What's brought you out here? Please, and I'll click the lock for the back seat. Would you like to get in?
Yes, and the glasses look a little extra skewed, and their clothes are in disarray. Yeah, I was asking for a gun. I was someone's boss. I may have been sleepwalking, and I just like pile into the car. Where are we going?
And I'll kind of look at Quark and then back to you. There is a young human. Her name is Rose. She's special to me, Third. She's different than any others I've seen here. And I'll kind of reach back and kind of, for emphasis, kind of put my hand on yours. She has potential. I may not be alone forever.
Oh, Mirrodin, that's wonderful news. And I place my other hand on top of yours. We must help her in any way we can, of course.
She has foolishly entered a corp memory stealer facility.
A child did this? These humans are strange.
She is very resourceful. You see a little
I
pride.
sense a hint of pride. There we go. And I say, now, let's see if we can get her out of this mess.
Thank you.
You know, something is weird here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to use my animal instincts to figure out what's going on with Third.
All right.
And I will spend a token to do that.
All right. So what do we see? What do we see on screen of your magic manifesting to determine that?
It's almost like you see holographic cat ears and a holographic dog nose kind of just pop up out of nowhere. But it's very subtle, almost like flickering, like static when you're trying to watch TV and it's snowing. And so I'm listening more intently. I'm smelling more acutely, just to find out what the truth is about what's going on.
And I think maybe we see a shot of the vision, the edges are kind of weirdly blurred and shaped, and you will look at Third, but you'll see this other face kind of turn and is looking in other directions, kind of in a delay, just behind, like it's not quite in sync. And you'll see this man's face there, and he keeps looking at Mirrodin with real hate.
Is there any way that I can quietly communicate this to Mirrodin without third hearing?
I don't know. You tell me. How would you do that?
As Mirrodin's talking about not wanting to, about maybe not being alone, I put my hand over his, almost as if to comfort him, and start tapping out a code, almost like Morse code.
So I think that you will tap that out. I think this does take a little bit of time to do this, to get it right. You probably have to repeat it a bit. And I think while the figure within third won't know exactly what's going on, they will have that sense that they know that sort of, there's something here, just a little bit of anxiety, free floating. Does that seem fair?
That's fair.
Okay. Give me one sentence that you of 12 words or less that you're communicating to Mirrodin.
Third is possessed. Be careful.
That's good. Third, how do you react to that?
I'm
when you're feeling this anxiety coming from this person within you.
Oh, right, that I'm not fully aware of.
Yeah.
That I don't realize is still writing. I think the anxiety translates to me being anxious for Mirrodin. I say, I sense that there's something you want to tell me about Rose. What are you planning for her? You said that you wouldn't be alone anymore.
And there may be like a subtle shift of where I'm so very open, and I've just gotten this warning, and I give you this kind of deep, piercing stare. I'm attempting to detect a predator, which is one of my normal moves.
Oh yeah. You see me lick my teeth in that way that Jacinto does, and there's a slight smirk that and third never smirks. So third's incapable of smirking.
I as you know, there are no more Osway. None that I have found. I must split myself. Give this gift. And she's perfect. The closest I came was when I stole this form. I took such an imperfect thing and made it so much better. It was weak. And I gave strength to this image.
And I think at this moment, you see third, like their expression kind of falters. There's a moment of they understand and they're proud of you, but then there's also this fear in third's eyes that you've never seen before, because third has never been afraid of you.
And the three of you will arrive at the place designated. It looks like a incredibly generic, off the beaten path kind of office space. It's modular, kind of conapt, broken up. Both there's no zoning here, so they're offices and micro factories next door to people's living quarters and things like that. But you can tell based on what Rose said that the top floor of this place is clearly a sort of a corporate front office. And how do you want to approach this, you three? Quark, you're the one sort of most gifted with the animal forms and so on. How would you approach it?
Frankly,
Mhm.
I would turn into, I think, a very small spider. Quiet, able to grow anywhere, no buzzing, no noise, and scout it out that way.
Okay.
Very quick and nimble.
So yeah, I think we'll see you like what does the spider look like? Is it daddy long legs? Is it a big hand-sized thing?
No,
What,
God, way, 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 way too big.
like just a
I'm
little
talking
tiny thing?
just a little tiny spider, trying to blend in with the walls, just small enough so that nobody's really going to notice it. I mean, I want to be hard to see.
Absolutely. I think one of the things is that changing your shape this far, changing your shape this to this size is such a complete change of perspective that you go and suddenly you are in a thing where the world is vast
Mhm.
and textured completely differently. And I think this takes some time for you to adjust and to get up to the fourth floor of this place.
Well, not only
Um,
that, but I think that in the process, I'm revealing a very dangerous vulnerability, which is that I don't have the dexterity that I normally would. I
mhm.
don't have the control over not necessarily my form, but my movement that I normally would if I were in, say, a larger animal or a larger creature.
Mhm.
So I mean, I've done my best to be as small as I can be and as unobtrusive as I can be. But I don't really have a lot of control over my motor functions in this shape. And that's dangerous.
The wind, the heat, anything could pick you up, lift you up, and you're kind of figuring out how to desperately hold up. You will get up to that sort of the stairs / hall that goes up to that fourth floor, and you will see that there are. I mean, it's clearly you've seen the markers that this is like a corporate. They lock these places down when they're not using them. They're places where they do meets and exchanges and things like that. It has that sort of very blank look to it. But there are three hooded figures that are at the front door of this place. And you can see that they've got some tools, plasma cutters and things like that. And they are working on getting that door open.
Do they look like employees or do they look like robbers?
They don't look like employees.
Is there any way behind that door that they're trying to get through that I can see?
You
A
would
vent, a
really
grate?
you'd really have to use your magic to get through these. They lock these places down. Do you want to get in using your animal form unerringly?
Let's see. I think I'll take action inviting risk.
Okay. Then I think that you can find what do you think is the access that will allow you to get in this form?
the seal on the door is imperfect. And it's a relatively tall door. I'm thinking it's something along the lines of like 12, 15 feet high. And so they're not paying any attention to what's going on at the top of this door that's like 2.5 times their height.
Mm-hmm.
So I can just kind of slip in through the door, through the crack of the door. And there's like, you know, those little pressure seals. One of them's not exactly tight, so I can squeeze through that and get inside.
And let's think here. What would be the? I think you will get through, but when you get to the other side, there is that immediate change of pressure and ventilation and air conditioning and so on, and you will be out, kind of that sort of free floating, flying through here, kind of outside your control for a while. Trying to find whatever purchase, because imagine how tiny you are, and when the currents pick you up and throw you, you have to decide whether you want to change out of this form or what. But we'll come back to you. I want to see what the other two are doing. So Mirrodin and Third, you're kind of sitting in this car as your little spider Anansi friend has headed out. What do you do?
Do you think Quark's okay?
My hope is he will scout and report back. And I think it is good for him to go do this, prove himself. It will help him overcome some of his concerns. I worry for you, Third. Why were you out here alone?
Mirrodin, I'm afraid. Lately I've been blacking out ever since what happened at the party. I'm shocked at how much time has passed. I don't know what's happening, and I'm not sure. I feel like something is off. I'm worried that I'm afraid that I'm losing control of myself.
I would not wish to see you like that. Your fear is one of the few fears I do not wish to see. That is why I'm going to regret this. And quick as lightning, my hand reaches forward and grabs Third by the throat as I push my face forward. Release her now, or I will devour you, soul and spirit. And I'm spending a token to use my magic with, there's such a great phrase on that, with necessary cruelty. God, that's good phrasing.
So, Third, what is the pain you feel when that happens? Is it a physical pain? Is it a panic? Is it emotion? What do you think your gut body reaction is to that moment?
Yeah, I think Third themselves, even if Mirrodin had attacked them, Third themselves would not have been afraid, but the fear of Jacinto rises up and just completely overwhelms, and it changes into this fight or flight response. As Jacinto realizes the jig is up.
and what does it look like when a Maddox escapes, flees? What do we see?
Ooh, I think for a moment, the skeleton that Third really is flashes in and out for a moment, and then there's this the head moves back and forth, and there's this screeching, screaming, and as he flees, there's a voice that says, "Mirrodin, when I have what I need, I'll destroy you. Just you wait." Your time will be up soon.
You will realize probably third at that moment what has happened, and you can clear your spirit fire.
Yay. Okay.
And Mirrodin, you'll see that spirit leave.
As it does, I think my mouth has opened wide, and we see these tentacles reach up and just sort of slap towards where it's going. And as they, I'll be waiting.
His fear was old. You've tasted it before, but it was still delicious.
Are you all right, Third?
Yes. It's so funny. I'm trying to fake cough, but I also have a real cough. Anyway, I'm just gonna say they fake cough. They real cough. And they sort of pull themselves together and take their glasses off for a moment, where you can see their blind eyes, and their hands are obviously shaking. I'm so sorry. I didn't even know that he was there. I endangered all of us.
I am so sorry. My enemies became yours. That is a shame on me. You are a true and constant friend.
Thank you, Murden. I will face any enemy of yours like it is mine. Never doubt that.
I love you. You are my dearest companion in this benighted world. Thank you.
And you see like a third sort of blush at the at it, and doesn't quite know how to respond, but they place a hand on top of your hand again.
That seems like a fair way to get a token for the Sant Elmo.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I'm going to cut back upstairs. When you're kind of floating, and you've seen little spiders that get caught by the breeze and the thermals and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Do you ride it out, or do you change? What do we see?
I'm trying to ride it out and just cast out lines and see if I stick to anything.
Okay, I think it will take a while. Probably see one line and it doesn't reach, then another line kind of catches, but then it gives. But eventually you'll be able to stop, and we'll realize that the sort of the hurricane blowing that we've been hearing is like just an AC vent, but at your scale it is done that. And you look around, and it's a multi-room like safe house. You can see that there are some machines here, like that are clearly central to the purpose of this, and you will see that they are the kinds of things that you saw your duende playing with, the memory stuff, and
Right.
those things. They're familiar to you in that way. And you will hear that door coming open as those three finally gain access. What do you want to do?
Do I see a child anywhere?
No, you don't see a child anywhere.
I'm going to follow them and see what they do.
Okay. You will see the three come in again, darkened hoods, cloaks, that kind of thing. You will see them come in. They move carefully through here. They look around, see their heads turn.
Do they appear to be armed?
You don't. I mean, they might have something under their cloaks, their jackets there, but they don't have like obvious guns on the outside or blades or things. But this world,
Right.
anybody could have anything. You will see the three of them move kind of as a unit as they look around, and they will get over to this machinery, this memory machinery, and you will see that one of them kind of go over and reaches out a gloved hand and kind of pushes some buttons to kind of clearly access let's get a sense of what's in there, what's been stored, kind of thing. And they do, and then they nod to the other two, and the other two reach out their hands and they hold it over the machine, and you will see this greenish light start to drip from their gloved hands into the machine, and it almost looks like leaves falling from their hands.
This is odd.
Yes, it is. What do you want to do?
I'm going to shift back. I'm going to drop down from the ceiling and shift back to my human form and say, "Hey guys, what's up?"
I will think we will see you drop down, do that, and I think we will see the person who is at the console kind of stands up, and the two stop. That greenish light stops, withdraws, and the two of them kind of turn very much in sync and kind of step away from you.
So seriously, guys, what's up? What are you doing? Good stuff in here?
And it's almost like there's some kind of consultation going on between them that you can't hear.
Look, let's be blunt. We're all thieves, right? I mean, you broke in here. I broke in here. We all want to steal some shit. I'm just asking if there's anything good. This doesn't have to be a thing.
And you say you steal some shit, and you see them kind of like that clearly determines them, like that determines their course when you say that. And you will see the guy who was clicking on the console there, see him kind of pull his hood back, and you'll see that there is a face and a head there that looks like carven wood, like someone's head kind of turned to wood, hair there kind of that's wooden as well. But the thing that strikes you is that it's almost like it's a helmet, because sort of behind the spaces where the eyes are, you see this gap, and you see these eyes that are looking around in panic, and maybe behind the wooden lips of this thing, you see human lips within it. And the other two begin to move to pin you in.
Are you elementals? Are you trapped in these masks?
You have the sense that what is going to happen here is the two of them are going to grab your arms, and then they're going to try and do something else. You kind of look at them, like you see the lips of the one who's looking at you. You see the lips moving, but there's no words coming out.
All right. What is the cost that the spirit world, or what price is the spirit world going to ask here?
To do what? Give me some more frame to this. I need to know some intention here.
I want to abscond with the secrets that are in these vaults of whatever form they are, and preferably not permanently injure these 3 people I'm in here with.
Let me think here. So is the abscond is you want to get the machinery, or is the
I want to get the data.
You want to get the data? Then I think the spirits will tell you that I think the spirits will say they're not going to let you go with the data. Sacrifice one of them. That's all you need.
Okay.
And I think because that's sort of in the weak move thing, I think you'll also hear a gasp, like a little girl's gasp from a closet there, who's kind of peeking out, who's as this happens, and you see one of the 2 of them who's coming at you turn and look and face where she's at. I'll come back to you in just one second. Mirrodin, I think you will get that bloom of fear. Like somebody rang the dinner bell somewhere for you.
Something is wrong, Third. I fear that our friend may have stumbled into something, and Rose is involved. We should go.
Yes, immediately. I'm going to, because I'm sitting on all these tokens.
Yes. Strong
I'm
moves
going
all day long.
Yeah. Just needed a mob boss to be in my body for a while. So that's
As one does.
Yeah. I'm going to use my magic with haunting accuracy. I was gonna use Spirit Fire, but I'm gonna use Let the Dead Speak.
Okay.
I'm going to say that this whole time, Third has noticed that there's like a ghost that's been peering through the windows of the car, watching the 2 of us. Someone
There's
who
so much energy kind of comes off of you elementals, even when you're passive. So I imagine this ghost is kind of licking the window, trying to get at it.
Yeah. And I turn to it, and it looks like someone who starved to death. Their eyes are hollow. And I say, and every ghost I see, I always know exactly their name and how they died. And I say, Dion, I need you to look at my friend Quark. What is wrong with her, and what happened to the girl Rose? And I'm going to choose. So those are the answers I seek specifically about Quark and Rose.
Okay.
I'm going to choose that the information. Let's just go like the information is complete, but you are tagged. I'm fine with the corp.
So I think the ghost will kind of moves. It forms that link with you, that silver cord, as it rushes, and you see that vision as it up through the stairs and into that room. Evil Dead style camera up there until you get into that room, and you will see Quark, you will see these figures, you'll see the wooden mask, and the one who has the wooden mask down, like his head turns like unnaturally quick with kind of a cracking sound, and the gloved hand reaches out and crushes the spirit, and you can sense where you can see where Rose is. You know the situation in there. And you know that they know you're downstairs.
Yeah. So I download all of that information. Like I pull it from my eyeglasses and I show it to Mirrodin to give him all the information he needs. And I say, I think it's time to let the monster out, Mirrodin.
And I'm busting out of the door and running full tilt towards the doors there.
So you run across, there are people on the thing. You look normal, but they know that there's something wrong, and they get out of your way. And you are up, 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 up those stairs. I imagine third, you're kind of following behind. And I think you will hit that doorway, Mirrodin. Let's see what Quark has done, and then we'll roll out to you being there. Quark, what do you do?
I would like to allow my animal instincts to reveal the truth about these three characters.
Sure. So spend that token. You will realize that these people have been infected with the internet virus, but not like you've ever seen. Like, you've seen kind of things like this, but not with not the grace and clarity and perfection that this is. It almost feels to you like this is what the internet virus wants to turn people into. But most of the time, it doesn't get to this stage. And you will see around them the ghosts of a forest all around them. They carry that city forest with them.
Okay.
Does that seem like a fair piece of info?
It does. So I want to open channels to the spirit realm that survived Earth's downfall to try to communicate with them on a deeper level, to explain to them that we can all share this information. We don't have to fight. That I'm looking for similar things as they are, that I'm also looking to preserve things and restore them to the people.
And this is so this is open a channel.
Yeah, and it's I have to describe and create a ritual.
Okay.
And I think the ritual here is that you see me fold my legs into the lotus position and close my eyes, and I start floating.
And I think that to communicate to them with the message that you have. Now, mind you, the message may not be one they want to hear, but the message that you have is that you're going to need some piece of substance from them.
Okay.
So you
Are
will
talking
raise
flesh
your
or
legs.
wood or?
Well, all you see is wood right now, unless you want to reach deeper. But as you are doing that, we see you pull in, we see you commune with the spirits, draw in, you lift up off the ground, and you'll see Mirrodin hit that doorway. Mirrodin, what do you do?
As I burst in and I take in this sight of my floating friend, these three figures, and do I see Rose?
Mirrodin, you hear from a closet.
And I am I'm going to spend a token. I'm going to attempt to terrify that wooden masked creature thing. As I come through, and I think that I'm still completely in my human form, but you can see again that sort of roiling underneath the skin as it undulates. And as I look at Woodface, you have one chance to escape this place. Take it now.
So are you doing the strong move on this?
Yes.
Then I think you will see that communication go between the three of them, and they move to barrel past you, since you're at the exit to here, and they will move to rush away. And third, you're on the stairs coming up, and you will see these three figures barreling down the stairs towards you. The last one, I'm gonna is probably still in the room in case Quark wants to do something, but there's at least two of them rushing at you right now.
Ooh. Yeah, and I want to spend a token to access someone's specific memory.
Okay.
I'm going to, as they come in, I allow myself to merge with the wall until it looks like there's just a shadow of a glowing skeleton in the wall as they pass by. And when they pass through, I reach out a skeletal hand to pull out that memory. What I want is specifically a memory of what they were after, like what they, yeah,
What
and
their
more about
purpose
them.
was.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think you will get this memory that they're holding that will rush up into you. And you can tell that they were trying to change the memories in that bank. And the memory that comes up into you is the memory of the world as a forest. And as like a world without people, a world just of woods. And it's kind of overwhelming. And you feel that it's like it's more potent. This memory is more potent than just the text of it. There's something else to it.
That I need to find out more of.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you'll kind of be struck by that. Let's come back to you, Quark, as these three rush out.
So as the third one is distracted by Mirrodin, can I maybe knock a piece of wood off the mask?
Sure. That seems like something you can do with risk there. Does that seem fair?
That's fair.
And yeah, I think you can get a hold of that. How do you get that?
I just reach out kind of backhanded, and for just the briefest of seconds, I slip into that. Just my hand turns into that natural Black Panther paw, and one of my talons gets a little sliver of the wood out.
Absolutely.
And then I catch it, it shifts back into a, and I can complete the ritual to communicate with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you get that, you'll see your fingertips start to turn to wood. What is it that you want to say? Do you want to
Stop
communicate with them now?
and come back. We don't have to fight. I'm trying to recover memories of lost Earth as well.
And you will hear them say, "That is not why we are here. You're in our way. The word for world will be forest, and there will be no need for you." And they keep going.
Right. Thanks for clearing that up. And at this point, I want to stick a thumb drive into the data banks. Say, third, could you please pull that out when everything's downloaded? And I want to shift into the form of an elephant and barrel out the fourth story wall. I'm just going to squish these dudes as they come down the stairs.
Okay. So that seems to me like you want to change with precision into this elephant here.
Oh yeah, I'll spend a token for this.
Okay. Um, so
A big old
I,
war elephant.
I think we will cut to the outside, and we'll see that the three, and they kind of hit that sidewalk, and you see them kind of look. There's that pause of, okay, let's assess. There's kind of that, again, that communication, and then there's a in the walls, and we hear, and then crunching of wood, maybe some flesh, but mostly wood. And everyone around here is looking like they're standing very still as the sort of dust is rising up from that.
I bray my trumpet again and run off.
Okay.
That ought to be a sufficient distraction for Third and Mirrodin to get out.
Absolutely. I think you can get Rose, you can get the drive, and I think this is a good place for us to take 5, and then we'll come back in the aftermath of this.
Well, you already backed the Passiones Kickstarter, right?
Of course. Though I didn't back it at hardcover level because I know I'm going to use it, and I find soft covers much easier to use at the table.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but I'm debating it because it's like, do I really need the dice in the deck, or do I just need the book?
Yeah, they're so nice.
I know.
Well, in fact, I have a funny story about the card thing that I'll tell you after we're all done and we're off camera. But about the time that Mark Diaz Truman yelled at me. But we'll come back to you, and I'll tell you that after the whole thing is over. I'm also using. I share his new video game, and it's Rune Factory 4. It's it's on the Switch, and it's an RPG. And she's just started playing it. And there's a thing where you can buy titles for your characters that you get bonus, and you have to spend these points to buy titles, right? Well, she found out that this title is like a dumb thing, like for like Pervy Princess, which she found out that she can get this title if she goes into this room 100 times, like that she's not supposed to go into, and normally it would cost her some of her princess points each time she did it, but she ran her princess points down to 0. And now she's down there going in and out of the room to get it for no cost, because that is what she does. She will maximize everything in those games. If she finds that there's a like vegetable dish that she can prepare that will get her the 5 coins, she will get all of the stuff, and she will sit there and she will do the animation for the cooking of it just so she can make the money. She will. That's what she does, and I love her for it. So we take up back again in these tunnels. Yes.
Can I do something kind of as we're leaving?
Oh yeah, please. Yeah. Let's before we cut back to the thing, if there's things you want to do on site. Yeah.
Yeah. I think as I get Rose out, you see this first rush of me running over to her and kind of just taking her in my arms. Are you all right? And after she reassures me a moment, sort of thing, or what'd she say?
What was that big gray thing?
That is an elephant, I believe it is called.
Is that yours?
It is its own. I will explain more. My dear, I think you should come home with me. You have put yourself in great danger here.
And I think, you're so used to the delicious fear. There's a different emotion that comes from her that isn't fear, but like she's so happy that you've asked her to come home with you.
I'm having to process that. And there's probably even that little bit of pulling away and straightening myself up from having shown this emotion. But this is Third. They are a great friend of mine.
Hello, Third.
Oh, hello, Rose. I've heard a bit about you. Are you okay, little one?
I'm fine. I just got locked in, and then this person came in, and these people came in, and there was this thing, and then there was some talking, and one of them was wearing a weird wooden mask, and
oh, right. And I give Mirden this look, and without having to say words, it communicates. Do you want me to take away this memory, or do you want her to keep it?
There's the definite look of no, don't take it away, no. And I'll kind of look to you. Third, could you take Rose downstairs as I'll reach out and hand you the thumb drive?
Yes.
And as they leave the room, we're going to see kind of coming out of my hand one of the metal tentacles going to this machine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to try to access if it has any memories of the Aswang.
Ooh, well, let me. I think finding this is probably a token spend if you want to find it with
Yeah.
complete information, right? Are you willing to do that, or is it just you want to like?
Ooh, do you want to connect it to what you hope for?
Ooh,
I
Because you
thought
could connect
about
it to that move. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I thought about that. Yeah, so I'm going to spend a token to make what I hope for more real, and try to find out who it was. What's the human organization that killed the Aswang? That's basically the memory I want.
I think that there will be a vision buried in here. You know, one of the things is that like there are bits and fragments of memories, old things that are left behind in here. Maybe corp people who've been tried to run away and have been, you know, debriefed here permanently. Um, and I think that there will be a vision that you will have, and you'll feel the fear. Like this person is truly afraid, and you will see a place, and you will definitely see some of the other Aswangs, and you see they're in some kind of devices, and you see someone operating these machinery, and it says, "All right, test number 32. Let us proceed, and let us see if we can open up this gateway to the underworld." And you will see them do something, and they fold the Aswang in on itself. And you will see them do that, and it's that you see them pulling it, and they're like, "We're only getting a little bit of energy from there. It's still not paying off." And you can tell they're trying to do essentially cold fusion magic by dragging things out of the underworld. And the Oswangs seem to be the one that they thought would be most reliable for this.
And as this memory goes through me, I think there's just this rage, and I'm going to just rip this machine apart.
Third, what do we see of you on this scene before we cut? Is there anything you wanted to do here?
I think you see Third struggle, like they know what Mirrodin asked, but they worry about Rose seeing these things. But in the end, they decide to respect Mirrodin's wishes, and they just turn. I think like we sort of hear that screaming in the background, right? That rage. And before Rose can turn around to look at what's happening, I say, "Now, my name is Third. You can call me older brother, and I'll be here to take care of you. We're family now."
And you look down and you realize that after that scream that she has grabbed onto you. And it's like you're not used to that, people reaching out and kind of holding on. And so you say brother, and she that kind of breaks her out of her like reaction to the scream, and she says, "Brother."
Right. I'm your big brother now, and you're my little sister, right?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Right. So why don't we get home?
Okay. And I imagine that we see Mirrodin coming down the stairs at that point.
Just because I'm a grubber, did I destroy something important?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
And important to you because you could have possibly gotten more out of this, but you destroyed this without getting everything that you could. Now we'll cut back to your facility. Quark, I imagine will kind of take a roundabout way to get home. Do you fly home or do you walk, or how do you do that, Quark?
Oh, I'm definitely taking a roundabout way to get home. I'm trying to
Okay.
get out of sight, making sure that there's nothing overhead that can see me. I'm like in a doorway where nobody's watching. I just transform back into my normal human form, and I start acting surprised and looking around, like, and as people run toward me, I'm like, "What the hell was that?" And then which way to go? I point off in another direction, and they go tearing off, and I just kind of shake my head a little bit and put on a good show in case anybody's watching, and slowly walk back and make sure I'm not followed.
I imagine the best places to go to do this are the skyfall spots where the satellites have done it, where everything is kind of broken and shattered out there. That you have to if you cross over those, there's weird radiation and things like that that keep any kind of sensors or watchers or stuff away from it. And you'll have to pass through those.
And everything's
As,
broken already, so it'll look like an elephant ran through it.
absolutely. Um, and So you'll make your way back. Mirrodin, third, when you get back to your underground layer, what is it that you want to do? You see your duende is still working through the pieces that they stole from the club. Quark's friend Jack is still sleeping it off. And there are probably a couple of the other of your allies that are here, um, just kind of hanging out in those beds that have been set up for them. Do you want to wait till Quark gets back, or?
Yeah, I do have something I kind of want to ask once Quark gets back, but if you have anything, Jamie or Third, that either of you'd like to do, feel free.
Yeah, I think Third will take a moment to create a sending off for the poor spirit that was crushed um, by those things. And the way that they do it is like they create something that kind of looks like a dream catcher. It's made out of like different circuit boards and trash that we find in the sewer nearby. And Third hangs it on a wall where all the other spirits they've either helped or met or have moved on or were destroyed. So it's a place of remembrance. And Third does it very quickly. Third has done this before, and it's not really a sad thing. It's just a way to. Well, I'm sure it looks sad, but it's just a way to remember these spirits that they've met. And Third will turn to Rose and say quietly, so the person that's sleeping things off, that is not part of the family. They are an outsider. We don't all like them.
Okay.
So stay away. And Edwalo's fine. But Edwalo's busy, so we'll just leave them to do whatever they need to do. But do you want to do something here? Do you want to play a game or?
Kind of looks like, no, well, I don't want to get in your way.
Oh, no. You'd never get in our way. Yeah, we just want to make you feel at home.
Oh, okay. and she'll she'll kind of, do you have any like dice or cards? We could play a game like something like that, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to impose too much.
Oh yeah. And third will take out this creepy looking tarot deck. Yeah, we can play a game with this. It was originally a game. So and because they're like it's a cyberpunk future. Like
Mhm.
you can see there's like there are holograms that, like, when you take out a card, there are holograms that act out, and you can sort of like play the game against each other if you like. So I'll say I'll teach you the rules, and we'll wait for everybody else to catch up.
Is it a game and a divination at the same time?
Yeah, I think it's like what the original Tower was, where it was really a game that you could also use um, as a form of divination if you wanted.
What will you see about Rose's Rose's potential as an Aswang?
As we play the game, I can see that she is merciless, and only that she respects me as an opponent. She's not holding back. And I think to myself, I can see why Mirrodin likes this one. This one will be dangerous if we give her the power that she deserves.
Yeah, she kind of plays it a little bit shark like. You could tell she's played and been forced to play hard where she's grown up, so she doesn't cut any corners. And I think as you're playing that, that's when Cork will return, and we can go. When the three of you talk, do you have a table? Do you have like a set of couches? What do you imagine the sort of the if we're going to sit down and talk with each other, what does that space look like?
I'm thinking beat up couches that we scavenged.
Okay.
I have a feeling that Mirrodin is a pacer.
So a couple of couches facing each other. There's one of those little low tables between it, very sort of Japanese corporate office style in some weird ways. But you're kind of pacing because there's plenty of room around that. Mirrodin, what are you saying?
I need your counsel. Looking between the two of you. Rose means a lot to me. And I can see what she can become. I wanted to wait, to give her time. But every day she puts herself in greater dangers. And those fools that birthed her know nothing of what she can become.
So you want to save her from greater dangers by making her an Oswong and putting her in greater danger?
No, but then she'll become the danger. Isn't that how it works?
Eventually she will be broken down by this world. If she does not become one of us, at least she will be free to fight for herself.
And third will look down and say, "It's true. I've seen too many children gone too soon from this world, trying to find their way to Sulad. I do not want this fate for Rose."
Quark, what do you think? It will take from her this innocence. Is it wrong?
I mean, and I put my head in my hand. Does she want this? I mean, did any of us know what we wanted when we were her age?
I do not remember.
I mean, this is a choice that she can't undo. There's no coming back from that. So you're asking a child to make a choice for the rest of her existence.
That's not true, though. We could. The nature of the aswang is that the gift does not have to be permanent. It can be temporary if Meriden wants.
Is it a choice if you become what you are meant to be? The foal becomes the horse. Is that not right, Quark?
Yeah, but if you are a horse, you are choosing. If you're a foal, you're choosing to become a horse. You are trying to make this choice for someone else who has not decided that she's a foal who wants to become a horse or whatever. I mean, have I really talked about animals that much with you that you know like what their gestational stages are and their transitional stages are?
I pay great attention to your many talks.
Look, if you need to do this right now, make it temporary so she has a chance to come back if she doesn't want it.
Yes.
You can always make it permanent later, right?
Yes. Yes. You're right. Thank you, both of you.
Is she still scared of me?
I think she was probably more curious than afraid. She is remarkable.
Okay, I got this. And I transform into a kitten. Black kitten, white feet.
And of course, no one can resist a kitten, so she will be delighted by that.
Yep.
So the question is, you want to turn her into a Nazwang?
Yes, I want to tell her, that I want to change her, and I won't force it on her, but...
So the GM will tell you what needs to be done to open their heart to the horror. I think to really do that, to crack open her heart to this horror, you need to kick her out right now and reject her and tear her away from this moment of family.
Oh.
Now you did feel free to X card that if you think that's too much.
Oh, that is rough, but I could sort of see it.
Sort of like how a mother bird will like push the bird out of the nest. Like,
Can I add something a little to that?
Please, absolutely. Let's. I want to make this interesting.
Then, kind of the push out will be, and she would return home. But when she gets there, the parents are terrified of her, so that she runs back to me waiting. Does that seem?
Yeah, absolutely. That you cast her out of here. She goes back and she'll return.
Yeah. I don't want to. I would feel like I wouldn't choose to just fling her to the world as an Aswang. I just couldn't do that. I would choose not to make her one if that seemed.
But you push her out. You say you need to go back to your parents. You need to do that, and she'll be upset. Not like you're throwing her to the streets, but I mean, she knows she kind of has to, but she also doesn't want to. What is it you say to her that prepares her for what's coming.
You have to go home. Only those like us can take this life on.
But you said I could. I mean,
That choice will be yours if you wish to make it. But you must go home and see your parents. And if you wish to come back, then you may.
and she's clearly afraid of her parents. We've established that kind of before. She'll look at you and she says, "Brother, do I have to?" She looks at you, Third.
Yeah, poor Third. Third is going to look at Meriden like, do we really have to? But then I'm going to kneel down and look at Rose face to face and take off my glasses and use a little bit of my magic just to give myself some eyes so it's not as creepy. And I'll look at her in the eyes and say, I don't want you to go, little sister, but I trust Meriden. We wouldn't have gotten this far without him and his power. This is a choice you have to make. Being an elemental is not, it's not easy. And I know that Quark sees you as a child, but I see you for all that you are. I know what you're really capable of, Rose. But whatever you decide, it'll be for the best. And I give her the tarot cards.
She'll clutch onto those, and we get that shot of her kind of leaving, but looking back a couple of times, looking at the kitten.
I shift out of kitten form and say, "This is messed up. I'm going with you." And then I transform into a mouse and run up her leg and into a pocket, like close to her heart.
Mirrodin, when she gets home, what is that scene like? What is she's afraid of her parents. She's afraid of this family that she lived in. Maybe not, anything like abuse, but more neglect and the rundown nature and their indulgences in the hedonism, ignoring of the family kind of thing.
Constant anxiety.
Yeah. So what is it that is that breakthrough moment for her when she realizes that her station, her role, herself has changed?
This is the choice that has to be made, is seeing as she goes in, and it was my intention to at least be within sight, though she can't see me. And she will see them fear. And she has to make the choice, do I want to be an object of fear? Because it's possible, it's conceivable that she would rather be there, be normal, not be someone that will always be feared. Or she may choose that this is the path for her, but it will be that chance to know what it's like for everyone to cower.
Are you making this temporary, or are you making one of the other picks?
I think it's so much more interesting to have her be strong and an ally for now. But
What do you want? What do you want?
No, I'm bowing to. I think Quark is wise. I trust Quark's thoughts, and it is something that I can change later. So, it will be temporary to see if this is what she truly wants.
And I think it is, as much as anything, that when she goes in, it's not a sense of power, like now they're afraid of me, but it's a sense of now they notice me. Now they have to see me. and that is the thing when she walks in, when she do stuff, and people who would normally ignore her and push her around, brothers and sisters and so on, they step away from her, and you can feel that that shadows kind of deepening around her, until she her father, who let's say is plugged in and kind of doing that horrible hedonism, see that he looks, and she steps right in front of him, and he sees her, and she's like, yes, and then she walks out and begins that walk back to where you are, slightly taller, that sort of rain of shadows around her, that aura, the black wings that you have given her, kind of making her a little stronger.
And I'll kind of fall into step beside her as we move away and run a tentacle out as here in this alley. I do my true form, and what does she look like in her true form? Well,
I'm going to ask you, this should be your decision on this. You see the wings.
I think that these black shadowy, almost smoke-like wings behind her. But her face is almost like porcelain, and I think where she's taller, her limbs are long and thin, but her eyes are enormous, so that she can see inside to exactly what it is that you have tried to forget you're afraid of.
I like the idea too that there's some of her that has a kind of the weird grayish skin of the elephant that she's seen today. In other places, we maybe see some of that wood, the things that got under her skin today, like she's showing some of the fear that she felt most recently.
Nice.
And I think that Quark, this is a real washing over of what the Aswang is for you, like and maybe in a way you hadn't quite realized what they're like. Does that make sense? Or I'm just suggesting that what is your reaction?
I'm a little sad because she was a sweet kid. And she's been traumatized and traumatized and traumatized, and I contributed to making her afraid. And even though this is temporary, I have a sneaking suspicion that she's going to really take to the power that it gives her, and maybe not in a good way.
That is a legit reaction. So let's cut back after this sequence. Third, let's come to you. After these moments have gone on, either while they're gone or after they return. What do we want to see of the scene with you here?
Ooh, I think while they're gone, Third can't stop thinking about the memory they accessed, and what was wanted and what they were working on, and Third understands that it's not the complete picture. So I think Third is going to reach out to the elementals, the ghosts in this area. I feel like it's all connected somehow, and I'm going to use my magic with haunting accuracy to let the dead speak. So what I'm looking for is, like, I'd like to present when Quark and Meriden come back with a complete picture of what we need to do. what the scope of this really is, like what we caught a glimpse of, I guess, is the answers I'm looking for.
I think that you will kind of use that memory as a way to call out. And we've described your space as kind of a junction of the dead and so on. And I think you will see people, these ghosts begin to come in, and there are more of them than you would expect. And they will come and they will breathe out to you these memories. And you can tell that they've bought memories, that's and they've purchased them, and those memories told them of, like, memories of their, like, members of their family, like going and lying down in the woods and passing away peacefully, and that sort of giving up and returning to the earth, letting yourself go, letting yourself not be here any longer, feeding that in, and that those memories hook into them until they start to believe, I should just lay down. I should just lay down and close my eyes in the woods. And you can see that their memories are when they laid down, those virtual woods appeared around them, and they found themselves in a forest, and they went to sleep.
Yeah, and because the option I'm going to choose is the information is complete but reveals a dark secret, and I want that dark secret to be that this is happening. This program, this memory originally was supposed to help, but it's been corrupted along the way.
The city, the heart of the city, has changed it.
Right.
Yeah. I think that it was originally, the virtual space, these things, all of that should have been a way to bring us closer to nature. But instead, the city has made its own kind of underworld, its own kind of other side that it's drawing people into.
Right, which is disrupting normal Sulad. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, makes sense.
And there are a lot of these spirits. And then Quark and Mirrodin will return with Rose.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say that the lair is like, it's much colder now because of all of the spirits like pulling in. So
like all of the glass and the TV screens and things are all frosted over, limbed with frost. You can probably see that your okay, what is his name? Ed Wallow is probably bundled up, gone and gotten like little fingerless gloves, to work there.
And yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, and I think Rose will come up to you, and just as she did at outside the building, will take your hand again.
Rose, oh, you're back. And Third is like crying, like the tears are streaming down, and they adjust their glasses. Rose, you feel stronger. You feel more like yourself now. And I pat her on the head.
She kind of reaches up and kind of touches the your face, and she says, "It's okay. You don't have to be afraid."
I won't be, not with you and Mirrodin here.
And Quark.
I squeak and run
Quark
out of
too.
her pocket, transform back into a human.
and Meriden Quark, I think you will both have a sense that like something has happened here in your layer, like that cold and the feeling that almost like pressure, like you feel like you're in a crowded room, but there's no one around you.
And I'll look at the others and say, I have to share this. And I pull out the files, the memories, and um, I allow the others to download the information so they can see it for themselves. But I make sure to like scale back the emotional feedback so they're not as overwhelmed as I was.
Well, there's nothing about animals in here, and this also does not look good.
Oh. No, this will destroy everything.
We have to confront the heart of the city. We can't allow this corruption to continue. I have a horrible feeling the court will take advantage of this if they can, if they haven't already.
Well, so the destruction that we're facing right now is that everything turns to forest, correct?
It seems, yes, but
And is this galaxy wide?
ooh, I'm going to say that I suspect it's starting to spread, that it's starting here, that this is ground zero, and it will eventually spread. The forest will have to find many homes for itself.
It won't be real.
No, it won't be what we remember. It won't be the real forest that birthed us. It'll
But
be terrible.
would it really, though? I mean, this will take care of the corp.
You've seen what happened to those people back at the memory banks. Do you really
Yeah.
want that for everyone?
I don't know. Which is worse? This or the destruction we know is coming?
I don't think we have to give up on the forest. I think there's a way we can fix this.
If it is a forest with no life, none of your animals, none of the people, then the
It's just a
spark
graveyard.
and the spark of magic will end. Everything will end.
Everything ends.
Only so that it can begin anew. We can't allow the cycle to be broken.
I'm just looking at this and I'm wondering, is this really the worst way? I just think about this. Okay, that's all I'm asking. Because I look at what we have now. I look at what's around us. What we have around us isn't life. It's not even a hollow facsimile of it. You just have people plugged into machines like rats getting hits to their dopamine centers and their pleasure centers, and they just keep pushing buttons to keep. They just get that charge over and over and over, and they don't stop. Maybe it wouldn't be the trees that we remember, but they'd still be trees.
They will be a lie.
But it wouldn't end in fire.
It will end in an illusion.
This is not a
peaceful
binary
illusion.
choice. We still have the power to recreate this choice as we see fit. Quark, this is not the time to back down. We are magic.
I'm not backing down. I'm just saying we have options. And I
we
don't
can
think
make
this is
them.
the worst one.
This is a danger to Sulad. This is a danger to balance. This is a danger to magic. This is giving up. You can do what you want, Quark, but I'm not going to give up. I didn't escape the corp just to allow something like this to happen.
I'm just saying if we can't change this, if we can't alter it, if we can't shape it, if we can't direct it? Is this better than fire? I'm just asking you to think about it. That's all.
And I'm asking you to be brave.
I am brave, but I'm also tired.
You're only tired because the magic is fading. If we address this, if we bring about the rebirth of magic, you won't be tired anymore, Quark.
All right, there.
Don't confuse despair for logic. Don't confuse despair for the answer. Promise me.
I'm not despairing. I'm just
It
looking at
sounds like it.
I'm looking at possible ends and trying to figure out which is worse. That's all.
We can't allow the fire and we can't allow the forest. We'll create our own end, our own new beginning.
With kittens. And I turn into that little black kitten with white paws and rub against your leg and start purring.
Yes, and kittens need to have something more than a forest and fire, so we'll have to attend to that.
So what do you want to do?
Third, you said we must confront the heart. Is that where this is coming from?
Yes, it is the heart of the city, and I haven't seen it, but it's not too much to suspect that the Corp would be after this power as well, this corruption. Imagine if they had their hands on something like this. Or they could be behind it somehow, I don't know, but I feel we have to travel to the darkest parts of the city and confront the heart. It's the only way.
Yes. Yes. To take such an action to destroy all that the heart is meant to protect. Something has changed it.
Yes, maybe we can reach out and have it see that there's more than just this cruelty.
Let me ask this then. Quark, what is the first step on the journey to get to the heart? That you know that there is a path, there is a quest, there is a journey. What is the first step on that in this city that you have to undertake to begin finding your way there?
There's an undercity. There's the subway stations, the trains that don't run anymore. There's the sewer systems that go down hundreds and hundreds of feet into the ground. There's all these interconnecting tunnels and ladders and stairways. And the farther down you go, the closer you get to the heart of the city.
So that journey down, you're already underground, but this is deeper, colder.
We have to start there's a specific subway station.
What is the name of the station?
It was 9th and E.
9th and E.
And that's where the access to the deep, dark parts of the city begin. That's where homeless people used to live, in the abandoned tunnels and the crossways that never got used. There's still drums of ash down there where they burned fires to keep warm and light the areas.
And Mirrodin, what is the second stage of the journey into the underworld, into the heart of the city? What is the next step, my Orpheus?
As you head through these tunnels, following the tracks and passing through these abandoned stations, eventually, like many cities before, you begin to see the layers that were built on top of.
you begin to see the older, the smaller, the more original city. And you begin having to pick through these streets that are unfamiliar, but which have a almost like a natural flow to them of the architecture of centuries ago.
Just that path, there are signs, symbols, things that direct you on the way that you need to go, that you can recognize. And third, what is the last stage on this journey?
As we get closer to the heart of the city, we start to see how the virtual reality, the magic, the machinery, all of it has started to mutate this part of the city. It kind of looks like, like Acura in that last part when things are like shifting and alive and writhing. So the cement and the wires are moving and breathing on their own, like as if we're stepping into the heart of a giant.
And I think that you will walk until you find yourself. This was an idea. This was a thing at one point. This was Yggdrasil, a world tree, that image, but it is rotten to the core. You can see the bark is peeling. You can hear the pulsing of it, but you can see instead of life, it is pumping out apathy and surrender. And you will see there is a figure nailed to the tree. And it will look up as you approach. Its hands are over its head, and it looks at you, and it will say, "Have you come to ask questions?"
Yes.
What is it you wish to know?
You've seen the forest. Why do you do this? What purpose will it serve?
I will make the city eternal.
There will be no one to live within it.
Eternal, imperishable.
A city is not a city if there is no one who lives within it.
Do you think they are living anymore?
You have given up hope.
Or did hope give me up?
I look to both of my companions, primarily probably looking behind me to Third.
And at this point, Third steps forward, and whatever false flesh they had on, it starts to burn away as the skeleton self starts to reveal the truth. And
See, kind of look, because you are a messenger of Sulad, and it turns its face a little bit away. doesn't want to look at you directly.
You have violated the sacred rules of Sulad. We must speak. We must find a way. And I'm going to spend a token to make what I hope for more real.
Oh.
To create a permanent bridge between Sulad and Earth. And I say, why recreate a hollow echo of what you seek? Trust in my power, trust in the love that we share and the hope that we still bear. And I will grant you access to Sulad.
And there is that pause. You can hear the tree pausing, and it will say, what is your role in this? What is your place in this, Tik Balang?
I want to spend a token to allow my animal instincts to reveal the truth about what's going on here.
And let me think here how we would what the best way. Do you have a sense of where you want to go with that? I can throw some things out, but I want to check in with you before I move to kind of set the paradigm here.
I feel like the heart of the city has given up.
And you
And
were
so
ready
I
to
would like
give up
to know.
just a minute ago. So
I was not
this
saying
is
that I was
interesting.
ready to give up. I was saying, is this really the worst outcome? There's a difference.
Subtle in gradations there, but go on.
If there is a way to make this heart of the city stop doing this and start working toward a better tomorrow and trying to avoid all the forms of destruction, that is a better outcome.
What is it? What is the part of the ritual that you will need to do to carry this across?
I think I have to spill some blood. This is a heart. Hearts move blood. And so I will walk over to the heart, and one hand will turn into a paw with a talon, and I will quickly slice across my other palm, squeeze my fist, and bleed onto the heart.
Mirrodin, what's your reaction to this?
I trust Gorg. And I am I think I'm going to spend a token because I too, something had to have happened here to cause the heart to have lost heart. How could I embody their fear? What would that look like?
I think to do this, you need to open yourself to understand what their fear is and take that inside of yourself and transform it. Maybe not for better, maybe not for worse. You need to give it some kind of answer to change it.
Okay.
What would that look like? You've seen blood be spilled, hear the heart beating, you see this black tree a question of hope.
You know, I have an idea.
Well, let me have Tyler answer
Okay.
first.
Yeah.
Let me get his answer
Yeah.
first.
I think that I think I need to show where this would be bad. So I think I come up beside where the blood is being spilt and sort of open myself up, wrapping my tentacles around this tree as I open up and show the nothing. Just the absence of all that would result in the magic, in the flame of the magic dying.
Blood, void. Third, what is the last piece?
For the ritual, I think it has to be a promise.
Oh, I like that. And what would you third promise? You've already shown them Sulad. You've seen the blood spilled. You've seen Meriden open himself. The void swallows.
I promise that no matter what happens, the heart won't have to be alone anymore. I will stay with the heart.
And it will accept. What does that look like? What happens to third?
I think third bends down to look at Rose, who's been quiet this whole time, and I say, I'll have to leave for a while, little sister, maybe for a long while. Can you take care of Mirrodin for me while I'm gone? I'm not as worried about Quark, but I'm more worried about Mirrodin.
And she'll not. I can do that. I don't have to be afraid anymore.
No, my dear, because you will be the fear
I will.
instead. You are strong. You understand?
And she says, yes, but, and then she reaches out her hands and she says, but we can still be family, right?
Yes. Once I stay here with the heart of the city, you can reach out to the heart at any time, and your big brother will be listening.
And then what do we see? What happens to you then, third?
I think as I stand up and start walking towards the person nailed to the tree, a flame of heart, a heart made out of flame starts to grow in my rib cage and starts expanding outwards, and a crown of thorns grows around my head. And I look back at everybody and I say, I'm doing this because I trust you, my family, to see the rest of this through. No giving up, ever.
Verdon?
You don't. I don't want you to be gone.
I'll come back when the heart doesn't need me anymore, and the heart won't need me when the corp is destroyed.
I'm just going to hug your skeleton form.
Nice.
I will retrieve you soon.
Yes, you will leave in your wake blood and pain and fear, and the corp will know that we are stronger than them, that they cannot kill our magic.
They will learn fear.
Let's go to epilogues. Quark. What is the epilogue for you, either in the immediate aftermath or ways down the road? what is Quark? What is she? Then what is she doing?
As time progresses, and this is almost like, oh God, I forget the name of it. But it's when time-lapse photography.
Okay.
You see the tree becoming healthier, starting to sprout new leaves. And every so often, as you're watching this time lapse sequence of this tree becoming healthier, you see this little flicker come in and leave just extraordinarily fast. But in the middle, you can see a little sparrow hopping around on branches, looking like it's singing, making a nest. And then it's gone again.
And third, we have some sense of where you are, but what is the epilogue for third?
Ooh, I think the epilogue is that until third returns, there is this strange thing that happens right before someone dies. They go blind for a moment and they start talking about a forest that no one else can see.
Nice. And Mirrodin, Rose, what is the aftermath? What is the epilogue for you?
I think you see one of these, probably one of the memory stealer fronts, the corp set up. And, it kind of comes through the front where we see the door hanging off the hinges and passes down a hall where we can see people broken to the sides and machinery tossed about. And it carries on back, and you see standing in a doorway Mirrodin and Rose. And Rose looks up and says, I think that's all of them in this place. We have more to do. And she says, yeah, for the family. And behind them, you see this mass of forms kind of in unison. For the family.
Very nice. Very nice. That's our session. That is our Balikbayan story in 2 parts. It is definitively one of those things where I'm like, yeah, you need 2 more sessions. You need to do this in 4 to give yourself room. This is a game that has that space. Do you mind taking a couple minutes to maybe give your impressions, kind of a debrief to talk about these things? Do you want to break before we do that, or should we just go ahead and go? Let's feel like we're in it. I'm going to start. Really some neat stuff. I love being able to engage with the mythic and bring those elements to bear, and that was super fun for me to watch you bring them in, to play with them. I loved even the sort of the high mythic magic, and then the spider there in that scene with Quark, and even the mouse in the pocket there later. There was some really nice contrasts that I love the texture and color of that in those moments. Puckett, this is just more general sort of comment, thought, things you want to say, debrief after this.
I love this game. And I agree. I think it takes more than a couple of sessions. You did a fantastic job of pulling it together in the last. I mean, I figured you'd be running up against right up to the hour to tie it together, not finishing like 18 minutes ahead. As always, you've done a fantastic job of tying things off in a really satisfying way. One of the things that I notice about this is even being conscious of the token economy, it might help to have GMs push a little bit more strongly for people to use tokens, because I finished with what was it, 2 left, and I think
Mhm.
Jamie finished with no, I finished with 3 and Jamie finished with 2. So, I mean, we could still be pulling strong moves almost all day, and be doing very, very well. But God, I love this game so much. I mean, I love that it can be playful, it can be serious, it can be dark, it can be light, it can be all of the things at the same time. It's just, the silliness that I could bring to bear on it, like the elephant running out of the 4th floor building. And Lowell, I loved what you did in the first session when you said, "Yeah, you're a hippopotamus." That was fantastic. That made my literally made my night. So it's just so much fun. And Tyler, you did such a fantastic job of doing this kind of grim, dark, I am the night, like really, really, really brooding Batman-esque thing. It was fantastic, and I loved it. And Jamie, third was a delight, just like the kind of spookiness and the ghostliness and the gothiness of it. And then the skeleton at the end. And I wish Robert had been able to show up tonight, because I really liked what he was doing with the Duende. And I had plans to ask him to make me a clockwork mouse, so to play into his lure and do something there, so we could have like a little spy. But I love this game so much. Thank you so much for making it, Jamie. And Lowell, thank you for running it.
I was pleased that we did get up kind of high on some of the tokens, and we did see those kind of get moved down towards the end. But I do think you're right. It is a thing where the GM may need to be, I may need to be more aggressive. But then again, I love listening to people talk. So there's a certain pleasure to that. But I think that's a good point. Jamie, so you got to play your game. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, oh my gosh, every designer's dream to play their game with someone else running. I really had fun. My thoughts. I'm trying to not get too technical.
Sure.
So one of the playbooks I always worried about was the Aswang, because like, oh my gosh, I'm pronouncing it like you guys. Aswang.
Aswang.
Yeah, sorry. No, it's okay. And basically, because I always wondered if it was too specific, right, compared to some of the other playbooks that are more open, that are more flexible, like the Tikbalang, for example, or the Saint. But seeing Tyler play the Aswang was such a treat. I really enjoyed it so much. It was so good. I like seeing everybody move in and out of their moves quite easily. I really liked what happened with Rose. That was a really good conversation. I basically, I liked how we kept coming together to, like, we were always coming from different perspectives or slightly different ones. And I think I'm hoping it's one of the strengths of Balikbayan is that it focuses you on creating like a second family, right? Because you only have each other. So I really like it every time that comes up. Yeah, but Lowell, it's really hard to do. Like, I've done one shots of Balikbayan, and that was like crazy. That was like insane. So I thought you did a really good job with 2 sessions. I really liked. I'd like to keep playing, but I'm really happy with our story also.
I was very happy with where we got to. There's so much good stuff there.
Yeah, it felt like a really good anime OAV from the 90s, where you only get 2 episodes. It felt that. Like
Shamanic Princess.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I love Shamanic Princess.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I'm going to get into it.
That is the best anime with it is literally like 2 episodes.
Yeah. It felt exactly like that, where it's so good, but you want more. That's it. Yeah,
and they didn't do any more of it.
They did it. It was so good, though.
Tyler, let's get your impressions here.
God, I loved it. First off, I want to say I love world build, and I think that the things for this, the elements, the city, all of the things that you get to set up for it it's so important. It made this game so real and full, and it's not too much. It is perfectly how much it should be to generate exactly. I mean, it felt real. We all had a good concept of what it was. And I kind of like the slow roll you did of starting to define things. Like this time we start off with kind of defining that element. Thought that was really neat. It is, I definitely think it has longer legs than 2 sessions.
Yeah.
Because I think some of our best moments were those quiet us moments. And if you had 4 sessions, we could have luxuriated in those a bit more. But I think you managed some amazing action, and it feels like there was so much that happened in 2 sessions. I mean, it feels like, I mean, if you go point by, there was just a bunch of stuff that happened in 2 sessions. And that's really, it's an impressive GMing feat to have so much action. And at the same time, I still feel like our characters were really well developed for, what you gave to us to work with. I loved Quark. I liked Quark's. There was a contrarian part at that end that I think was really necessary. I mean, it wouldn't have been anything like interesting if we were all just like, okay, yeah, let's do that. It needed some tension in it. And so, Bucket, you did a great job of, kind of focusing us to a, we should not just be single-mindedly looking at one thing. So I think that was nice and was in there well. Jamie, you're just fucking awesome. I loved our character interactions. I loved Third, but you are so much fun to play off of. I mean, you're like a great improv actor. It's just you bounce that ball right back, and it's so sweet to play with you. And I was really happy with the Rose thing. I think in the end, I think that whole what it took to change over, I think it's important looking at the Aswang that they're a dark thing, but they're necessary. And I think, along with our history of them, kind of, how we did that hedonism is the lack of fear. We needed fear back. I thought that it really brought it out. And so all around, I thought that Rose thing was really, really sweet.
And I want to say, I really appreciate, I love that negotiation that we had, that I put something out there pretty strong. And then we talked about it and I thought what we ended up with was even better.
Well, and it would have been completely fair if you said that was the price. It just would have been something that I think in the end, Mirrodin he wouldn't have been able to do it right now.
Yeah.
He simply would not have been able to do it.
I don't think it's fair to give somebody a price that they can't pay.
I mean, there could have been good story there where it would, the angst of, I know that I want this to happen, but I just can't do it.
Your version was better and stronger and fit with the feel of it. So,
and a little bit, we're talking, it's 2 sessions. There's something pretty cool about this slice of life, because in a lot of ways, this feels almost like an origin story for Rose, or an origin story for the beginning of the rebellion really starting. This feels like that prelude moment where it sees where we kick off from here. And I thought that was really neat. It was just a cool slice of moment that is super important, changing the world. So, kudos. God, this was good.
I'll say something else too. I've looked at some of the other of the belonging outside, like the Dream Askew, Dream Apart, and some of the other ones. This one, more than any of the other ones, says, this is the game. Here are the things you can do. Like, I feel like we've got clear objectives, and I kind of know where we're going to be going with stories. Like, I really loved the setup that we did was Dream Apart, right? But at the same time, I was like, okay, what do we actually do? Like, what should we be doing? This, I love that you as a player, as Jim, you're like, okay, I know where we can go. We got all kinds of stuff that we can do, and we have objectives, and there's a purpose. And as a player, you have a very good sense of what your agendas are early on, which I think is so important.
And I do wonder, Jamie, when it's played GM-less, because a GMless game can sometimes get rudderless. Does it flow as easily as we kind of saw here with a GM at the helm?
I feel like it takes a group that's used to picking up and putting down NPCs really quickly. In my experience with playtests for Dream Askew and Balikbayan, the first 2 sessions are going to be rough if people aren't used to it. Like, it's really going to be like, should I? No, maybe not so much. But so I was really tempted to make Balikbayan just like a GM game, period, just because that's what I prefer. The reason why I kept it as an option is I have a lot of friends who are neurodivergent, and they say they have a much easier time playing a game when there's no GM, because if there's one GM, their focus tends to lag and they get too tired. But if it's shifting around, it's easier for them. So, but yeah, I feel you. Like, and that's also why I put in more stuff to do, like more ways to focus it. Because when I play Dream Askew and other games, I feel like you spend the first 3 sessions just figuring out what you're doing, right? Like, and I like games where you sort of like hit the ground running. And it's my Capricorn nature. Like, I need to have. But there you go. Yeah.
It's good.
Darn good.
Yeah.
Darn good, Jamie.
Oh gosh, thank you.
Yeah. I'm going to stop the recording, and I will do it. So I'm going to stop.